One of the things you just mentioned right here was that All Stars were announced here a couple of days ago. So I'll start off now announcing the East All Stars. So first, what the leading vote getter was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh.
Then you have Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, and Tyrese Maxey to round out the starting five for the East. What do you think? What do you think of those first five?
I mean, I think that's pretty spot on. I don't.
Yeah.
You've got I think besides the Bucks, obviously, right? You've got the top four teams represented. I know the Knicks have fallen off. And we're going to hit on that topic coming up, but I think if you looked at it, you're like, those are the top players in the East. Probably, I think you maybe someone off the Cavs. But I think you've got probably. I think I was looking at jersey sales. Like a lot of these guys are right up there with it. So I think it's spot on. I don't think there's anything to be upset about. I'm sure if you're Donovan Mitchell, possibly. Maybe you want to get your name in there. Garland's been injured a lot. I just think the Cavs have been kind of inconsistent. And again, it's 50% fan vote. You got 25% coming from the players and then 25% from media. So I think that's clearly the probably top five players in the East.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's really nothing to argue about too much in the East. I mean, Mitchell, probably like you mentioned, like the one that you could argue a little bit for. I mean, he has 29.
Wow.
Yeah, we're just 29 points a game, but all those other guys are pretty solid, and it's pretty guard heavy, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Brown's like a small forward, but yeah, I mean, you got Giannis and a bunch of guards, so
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good to me. I guess we could switch sides here. So that's the East. You want to go ahead and what do we got for the West?
Yeah, so for the Western Conference, you've got Luka, Stephen Curry, SGA, Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama.
Okay. No LeBron, huh?
No Bron. I think that they will find a way to get Bron in the All-Star game. There's no way there's 2 years in a row. He'll be there, not in spirit. He will be there at the game. He will be involved somehow. I would bet there's some injury that he is pushed into if he's not one of the reserves. But Bron is one where he's going to be on the All-Star team. I think he's been out so much this season. It's hard to get a representation for him in the starter as a starter.
Last year he was announced a starter, but he didn't play, right? He was hurt.
Yeah, he sat out last year. So there's no way. I don't foresee a retirement, but there's no way in what is probably the twilight of his career that he's not going to be involved in these games. So
okay,
you'll see him on the bench.
That'll snap his 21-year starter streak. 21 years. That's crazy. That's incredible. But no, I wouldn't want. I mean, LeBron shouldn't start this game. I think his time has come. The one I do look at is, well, I mean, there's no issues with me. Luka, he was actually the lead vote getter in the West. Shea, he's MVP. Jokic, I think he should be better now. I think he's already like doing activity on the court. He should be back, so he should be there.
I think February 2nd, I think, is the date they slotted for.
Oh wow! Okay.
For Jokic to be back, yeah. So soon.
That'd be good. I mean, the teams did great. Kind of keep staying afloat with him gone. But Curry, him, I kind of went back and forth with Curry, mainly because of Anthony Edwards. When you look at kind of like side by side picture of their stats, I think Anthony Edwards is ahead a little bit. Curry's averaging 27.8 points per game and 29.6 assists. Curry's got him 4.9, about one more than Anthony Edwards at 3.7. Rebounds is Anthony Edwards at 5 compared to 3.8. And then games played is pretty similar. But the team record, it's not a big difference, but Minnesota is ahead 27. Well, last I checked, 27-16 to 24-19. And we look where they're at in the West. Golden State's more in the play-in area,
Oh.
and Minnesota, they're right now would be in the playoffs. And just watching these games, we watched, was it Anthony Edwards on Saturday? Man, big shots. And I
Yeah.
know Curry's done that a lot, but I feel like this year, I feel like it should have been Anthony Edwards' time to be that starter and kind of take the reins there, as he is a superstar. I mean, the guy's doing incredible stuff. He's been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Just I feel like it should have been him. I know when they looked at the last spot there, it was actually between Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards, but the fans voted Victor in, which I don't know. I'm glad Victor's in, but for me, I would have had Ant in instead of Steph. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I think when you're comparing them as guards, yes, 100%. I think Ant deserves it over Curry. It's just hard to say that Steph Curry, he's not sitting like LeBron has a lot this season, so the injuries aren't taking him out of it. So it's hard to call that out as a point that would pull him out. He's older, obviously, still doing what he does. So it's tough. I think Ant deserves it. It's hard to say who out of there doesn't. I mean, I think a lot of the talk I've seen also has been like Luka, and I think that's crazy. Like Luka's, the Lakers have slid, but they're still in the hunt, right? Like of not being in the plan. Then you've got just his overall average, like he's leading the league in scoring. I just don't think that's going to fall into it. Maybe if Jokic doesn't come back on the same timetable, then you slot Edwards up. He obviously is going to be a reserve. There's no way he obviously doesn't make an all-star game, but I think he slides in there. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with that. But yeah, I think it's there. I think the fan voting between Edwards and Wembanyama was like 4,000 to 5,000. So super slim margin that had it. But again, right, like the fans, if you're upset as a fan, then you should have voted as many times as you could, because that was 50 overall percent, right? And I think the good thing is you look at both these the starters and you're like, yeah, like that's who should be in the game. If you're fighting to get another great player in there and it's minuscule on why they didn't make it. I mean, I remember the days when Zaza Pachulia had enough votes to be a starter for an all-star game until they went to the coaches and media voting. So I think the fans got it right. I think who's there is who needs to be there. Ant's going to have a ton of all-star games that he'll be in. I can't see him not making one the rest of his career.
You think this is the last? You think this is the last time he doesn't start, Ant-Man?
Yeah. I just don't. I don't. Again, popularity is crazy. I wouldn't say Ant is the face of the NBA. I think he is a face, but when he's a superstar for sure. I think there's just a difference in being a superstar and the face of the NBA. I think there's a lot of players that are superstars, but were never necessarily like that person that transcended what it was. And Curry is that. Curry, 2-time unanimous MVP. Really, the game is played the way it is now because of what he has done in his career. Like you've got Wemby at 7'5", shooting a crazy amount of threes. And I think the game's expanded because of that. Whereas Ant, he's an amazing player. I think you could look at it, is he in a small market? Is that hampering it? I don't think so. I just think you still got Curry around. You still got LeBron around. You've got the emergence of international stars and Luka and Giannis, and now you've got Wemby and Jokic. So it's tough, to come above that. But I think he's going to be right there. Like he will be fine for it. So.
I mean, you mentioned it, but some would argue that Luka won. Like Ant-Man, he's a two-way guy, right?
Yeah,
he parts both ways. He's great on offense, and he'll take the challenge on defense and try to lock you down. Luka, not so much. Kind of more offensively, or more offensive player. Was that a market thing with Luka being in LA, and then Ant-Man just being in Minneapolis is. Who would you rather, and also like, who would you rather have?
It could be a bit of it. I mean, I think recency bias would have people saying, "Hey, I'd rather have Ant-Man on my team or start my team with Ant-Man." Like, people know who Luke is. Like the same way Ant has taken them to back-to-back conference finals. Like one of those, like he lost to Luca. So, like I think it's a tough pick. I'd say now, yeah. Like, would you probably want to start your team with Ant over him? I think when you're looking at an All-Star game, you're taking in fan voting. He's in LA now. It's just tailored for Luca to be up there. And again, he's not had a bad year. He's had a pretty amazing year. Even with all the controversy with just, like his defense all season. So Ant's going to be fine. I think the cool thing is, with Ant's competitive nature, this is gonna light a fire, and I'm intrigued to see like what the second half of the season looks like for him. Like I want to see the next Wolves Lakers game and what that looks like, or Wolves Wolves and Golden State game to see if he goes at them.
Okay. So those are the starters.